So my name is Sirasit. I'm a software engineer. I have my certification in Azure AI as an AI engineer. And so, as I said before, it's going to be more of a beginner-friendly lab. So it's going to be for people who probably may not have interacted with a chatbot or kind of has, but hasn't really gotten more in depth with it. So we're going to be messing around with multimodal models in the GitHub Models Playground, and also using the Microsoft Copilot as well. So let's see. So these are some of the learning objectives. We're going to be exploring a lot about prompt engineering, the concepts and the best practices of how you can, do zero-shot learning. You can do few-shot to kind of adjust the prompts to get the results that you guys desire. All right. So we'll be doing text to text. We're going to be doing text to image, and then we're going to do a combination of text and image to get a result from that. All right. So if you guys are following along, this is going to be kind of, if you click on this link right here, it's going to take you to this page. Let me just go from scratch. It's going to take you to this page. This is the GitHub Models Playground. You can go and select the model that you want. For this lab specifically, we're going to be messing around with the GPT-4o Mini. So go ahead and have that set up. It should look like this once you have your account signed in, and then once you click on the model, it should take you to this interface right here. All right. And this is kind of just taking you through what the UI looks like. You're going to be, of course, the input down here. You can adjust the system prompts, which I'll go into more later on in the lab. You can see the temperature. You can adjust the top P values, and then, of course, the models over here as well. And then, as you go down here, this is going to be the Copilot right here. The input, of course, is right here. My interface looks a little bit different. It looks like this. So if it looks like this, no problem. All you really need is just the input box right here, and then you don't have to match exactly like this UI right here. All right. So let's go on part one. So part one is going to be text-to-text generation. It's going to be pretty much what you expect from ChatGPT, any sort of chatbot. The user inputs some sort of text, and then you get some sort of text input or text output. We're going to be going over prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is just basically a word describing what the user inputs in and what the desired result should be like. Basic prompting. I'm just going to have a split screen so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to be messing around with the GitHub Models Playground. So go ahead, and if you guys want to do split screen like me, or if you guys were going to have the models, I'll have the instructions on the left side, so you can just look up here if you guys need. Make sure that the 4o Mini is selected, and we're going to be copy and pasting in this prompt right here. The first concept that we're going to go over is the website copy. So say you have a company, an ice cream company called Sweet Scoops Delight, and you want to get some sort of tagline that is generated for you. Go ahead and enter that in. It's going to give you one tagline, just like that. Of course, it uses the train data that the model was trained on, and it kind of uses that to predict what you would want. And it uses the context within the input to kind of see what the output should be. So, for example, the Sweet Scoops Delights is what they're kind of keying in on as a context. And then this is what came out. Now, without clearing it, we're going to go ahead and paste that in like that. And this The reason that the chatbot recognizes what we're referring to is because the chatbot has context to the previous inputs. So under the hood, the chatbot, once you enter in the input, it takes the context of the previous input and result and then passes that into that new input that you entered in. So essentially the chatbot has access to all of this information right here. And although chatbots don't have actual memory and you're actually not training the actual model when you're interacting with the chatbot. So the chatbot only has access to the information from here on, essentially. So now, another great thing you could use chatbots for is summarizing a big blob of text. So let's say you're too busy or you're too, you don't want to read all this text, so you just want a TLDR. So let's go ahead and copy paste this in. The first prompt you give it is just give me a TLDR, which is too long, I don't want to read it. Like give me a quick summary of what it's about. And then the second input is to extract the company name, categories, and the business values from the above description. Let's go and enter that in. And as you can see, the output, it gives you a quick, concise TLDR of what the description was up here. And it gives you everything that you asked for. So the company name, the category input, and also the unique values. So this would be extremely helpful for you if you had some sort of PDF, any sort of large amount of text where you just want some sort of quick summary, and also if you want to extract some sort of information from it as well. That was kind of the basics of prompting. It's probably what you're used to if you've interacted with a chatbot before. Let's move on to more advanced prompting. Before we do that, go ahead and reset the chat. It should be the trash icon, the trash can icon right up here. And once you reset it, the chatbot does not have any more context as to what you're talking about. So for example, if we go back to generate, let me copy this. Generate a homepage is what we entered in before. It doesn't have context access to this information right here anymore. So if we type it in, it might be completely different name. Oh, yeah, completely different name. So instead of Sweet Scoops Delight, it's Sweet Bliss Ice Cream. So it made up its own ice cream shop just from the train data. It's trying to predict. It doesn't know what you're trying to ask, so it just came up with its own response. So that takes us to zero-shot learning. Zero-shot learning is essentially using the data that the model was trained on to generate some sort of response that it thinks you want. So for example, I want to generate 10 unique menu items for a futuristic themed restaurant, including dish names and a short description. So it's going to go ahead and go through and generate all of these different types of menu items that it thinks that you want with a futuristic theme associated with it. So neon noodles, quantum sauce, interesting, galactic grain bowl, and so on and so forth. And now, that's great and all, but what if you want it in a certain format, such as this? So let's go ahead and try few-shot learning. So few-shot learning is essentially providing it more context as to what you want the output to be. So instead of just saying you want 10 unique menu items, you're providing examples as to how to format it and what you want out of it. So you're providing examples, so then the AI can try to predict or give you a better output as opposed to the no-shot learning. So as you can see, we still get the same menu items, not the same, but we still get a futuristic theme menu items, but now we get it in the format that we specified. So extremely helpful if you're not getting the result that you need. You need to provide it more context, so then the AI can predict what the output should be that you desire. All right, and let's go ahead and reset this. And now chain of thought prompting. Chain of thought prompting is basically assuming that the AI is kind of like an intern, where you kind of have to give it more instructions as to what you want, and then you will get better results. Just with any sort of human interaction as well, right? Because if you ask one person, like, give me spaghetti recipe, there'll be one iteration from one person to another. So you have to kind of give it more instructions as to what you want. So with that, this is the first method, where you would give it a prompt, which is the develop a new pizza for a restaurant. And then you give it very, very specific instructions as to what you want the AI to do. So you want to start by deciding on a theme for a new pizza, determine the flavor profile. So do you want sweet, spicy, savory, whatever you want. Pick the ingredients, red sauce, white sauce, whatever you want. Unique toppings, and then come up with a name.
So you keep copy and pasting it. How do you break text and be able to go to the next line inside of
here?
Yeah.
You could do shift enter.
Yeah.
Shift enter. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and see what comes out. All right. So as you can see, it gives you everything that you asked for. So you get new pizza, you get a theme that you asked for right here. You get an overall flavor profile right here. You get base ingredients, you get unique toppings, and then you get a creative name. So since you gave it such specific instructions, the AI was able to generate exactly what you asked for, which is pretty amazing, to be honest. Another method, if you want to do it like that, you could have the AI kind of logically think through the steps by itself. So let me go ahead and paste this in. So now it's going to be pretty much what we did last time, but now we're going to give it, I guess, more of a human kind of prompts. So you want to start by thinking about the theme, considering how it fits into the futuristic concept. Then you want to develop a profile, keeping in mind the audience preferences, overall taste. Next, choose the base ingredients. What else? And then finally come up with a name. And then include your reasoning before sharing the final answer in the below format. So this is what we expect as the final answer right here. So answer is, and then pizza description. So we're having the AI think more in more sequential steps, and hopefully our answer will be very, very similar to what it was before. So let's see. Step 1, right here. Start by thinking of the theme. So galactic fusion theme. Cool. Next, let's come up with a flavor profile. So depending on the audience preferences, we could do, let's see, bold, balanced, transcending traditional pizza. Cool. All right, so now base ingredients. Dough, you want this. Sauce, spicy sriracha aioli, mozzarella, perfect. And then step 4, unique toppings. All of these listed right here. And then step 5, name them pizza, galactic fusion. And then final answer is the Star Voyager, light cauliflower crust topped with spicy sriracha aioli. Not bad. Mozzarella and smoked Gouda. And grilled chicken infused with tandoori spices. Crunchy watermelon radish. Interesting. All right, so this is going to be the final answer that the AI came up with after the reasoning that it basically reasoned through itself, right? All right. So let's go ahead and reset and move on to system settings that I kind of alluded to earlier. System settings is going to be right up here. The point of a system setting is to essentially provide it context before entering a prompt. So this would be useful if you're developing some sort of chatbot for your website. If you're running like a shoe store, you'll be like assume I don't know, like you're a shoe store salesman, something like that, and you have very diverse knowledge in shoes such as Nike, Adidas, whatever, right? And then every time the user inputs something, the chatbot is gonna assume the identity of that whatever identity that you gave it. So for example, it says here, you define the model's behavioral role. So you are a spaceship captain telling intergalactic tales, right? The difference between this and the few shot and the zero shot learning is that you don't have to enter in the context every time the user puts in the input. So, like if you're going on a Nike store and there's a chatbot, you don't want to have the user enter in, I'm looking for a shoe chatbot every time, right? You want the system to already recognize that it's a shoe chatbot, and so the user doesn't have to enter in every single input. Let's go ahead and enter in the first system message. So let me expand this a bit. So in the system message, you're giving a task. You are a menu designer for a futuristic themed pizzeria restaurant. And then this is the name, Galactic Slice. The goal is to generate a creative menu item and description. Keep your answers brief, engaging, and aligned. This is pretty important, especially if you don't want, AI tends to kind of come up with its own answers and kind of, come up with really long, winded answers that you do not want, right? So if you specify that you want it brief, engaging, and aligned to the restaurant's theme, then that's what the AI will try to be. Same with this right here. It's kind of going on with the same thing right here. Keep it brief and engaging. Another cool thing about system message is to set the tone of the voice of the answer. So you want it to be friendly yet professional. So that's super, super cool. I messed around with this. I'll probably show it after this. But if you put it to be like, always be mean or something like that, every input you put, it kind of like, they kind of insult you. It's kind of mean.
Being angry.
Exactly. Be angry and sarcastic. And then, every single output that the AI gives out is going to be sarcastic and mean. So I think that's super, super cool. All right. And then safety. Keep the descriptions family friendly, suitable for all ages, and avoid any relevant information and conversational opinions. So that'd be good safeguarding, if the user types in like what is the date today or like who's the president, some sort of like that, where it's not relevant to the chatbot at all. The chatbot would just elect to just defer it, be like, I'm not going to answer it. Like, please ask a question related to the pizzeria. There we go. And now, once we enter in the prompt right here, it's going to take the system message that we put earlier and basically give it context as to what the user wants. So if you press that, you can see that it already knows that it's galactic slice, even though we didn't put it up here, right? Normally we would have to put it in here as like a few shot, but since it's a system message, the AI just recognizes it automatically, right? And it says where every byte is a journey to cosmos, blah blah blah. Stellar menu items, and it lists all the menu items right here. All right. And then like kind of what I alluded to, where safety measures is concerned, if you ask it a irrelevant question, the AI will hopefully, yes, cool. So it does reject it. So it says, at Galactic Slice, we focus on creating fun, inviting atmosphere for our guests. We would love to hear your thoughts. Let's keep the conversation light and enjoy every moment under the stars. So it just elects to not answer at all just because it doesn't relate with the pizzeria at all, right? And that's because we enter that in as the prompt right here, down here, safety. All right. And moving on to grounding. Go ahead, if you're following along, go ahead and reset the chat, please. And I believe it should reset. Oh, no, it doesn't.
Can you explain the temperature and top P in the settings?
Yeah, so temperature, it controls how random the result is. So if you want to be more creative, you want it higher. So it's pretty high right now, it's at 1, it's the highest. If you want to be more like strict, I guess you could say, you could take it lower. And then top P is very, very similar as well, where it's higher, you get more randomness and I guess more creativity as well. So if you have it low and low, it's going to be very, how can I say, like strict. So you're going to get the same answer every time pretty much. It's not going to be random. Let's keep it high. All right. So let's move on to grounded prompting. Grounded prompting uses retrieval augmented generation. So let's say the pizzeria has some sort of database where it stores all of the menu items, and you ask the AI, like what is the best pizza with pepperoni, pertaining to this pizzeria specifically. The AI could, retrieve the information from the database and also put it into its reasoning. So it's gonna take all of the pizzas that are in the database and kind of develop a list for you. Let's see. For example, we're gonna put this in the system message. So this will be the business, Contesto Outdoor Company, and it's an e-commerce business specializing in outdoor clothing and equipment. Wide variety of, products that they have. But then you specify down here, normally it wouldn't really be in the system message. It would, you would have to integrate it a different way for the AI to, search within the database. But for the purposes of this demo, this is going to be essentially a database. So you're specifying that the tents, these are the different tents that Contesto Outdoor Company offers. These are different types of backpacks that it offers. Right here, 1, 2, 3. These are different types of clothing it offers, 1, 2, and 3. So the AI now has context to all of this. So if you enter in this prompt right here, normally if you enter in this prompt without any sort of system message or any sort of additional prompting like zero shot or few shot learning, the AI is going to be really confused. Like, what are you talking about? Write a short description of what? Like backpacks? It might even make up some sort of its own tents, backpacks, or hiking clothes, right? Essentially, it has a context of what we just gave it. It actually knows what we're aiming for. So it gives you a description of all the tents that we have and all of the backpacks as well. It looks pretty generic, to be honest, but that's okay. And then all of the hiking clothes as well. So this would be extremely useful for, any sort of application where you're trying to look within the database and only within the database and not have the AI make up some sort of BS answer, essentially, right? Because you want it to use your company's data and not, I wouldn't say not the data that it was trained on, but you kind of just want it to look through your own data.
How do you connect it to a database, or is it, do you do it from that?
So it would normally be through SDKs, like programmatically.
APIs.
Exactly, yeah. So this is kind of just the UI that GitHub gives us. So then, yeah, that's pretty much the only way we could hook into it, is just a system message.
Is there a way, I don't know if it's part of the prompt, but some AIs automatically give you an answer without context, and others like ask you further context. Is there a way to sort of set it to like clarify things that it doesn't know, or is that part of the prompt?
It's going to be mostly the prompt, I would say. Or if there's a way to set the system message, that would be another way as well. I know that I've, in the past, basically said, like, ask it a prompt, right? And then at the end, put, if you have any questions, make sure you clarify with me before giving me an answer. That way it would, you know, if they're confused about the prompt or like some sort of answer that you want, you can clarify it before the AI gives you an answer back. Yeah. All right. And then this is kind of just going over the different models. Where is the compare? So right here, let's go ahead and compare it with the 5.4. I've never heard of the 5.4 model, to be honest. So let's see how the two responses differ from each other. Let's see. Right here. So with the different models, you know, more powerful ones, of course, give you better answers and are generally faster as well. So you see it here. We're entering the same prompts for both. Oh, sorry, let me clear this one first. Okay. So we're entering the same for both. This one is the GPT-4o Mini, and then this is the 5.4 model. Let's see how well they do against each other. As you can see, it's, you know, GPT-4o Mini is a lot faster. A lot faster. So this completed in about 4 seconds. This is about nine or so. And then you could also see that it differs slightly in the output that it gave you. Yeah. So, you know, depending on the type of model, your results could differ a lot. This is kind of what it's showing. And also the time it takes as well, right? All right. So now that was text to text. That's kind of what people normally use it for. Let's go to a different use case where you would do text to image. And we'll go ahead and move on to the Copilot now. How do I get rid of this? So for text to image, it uses the DALL-E 3 model. So it could extract the text input and then to generate a image output. So let's go ahead and try it out. This is just kind of go over like what to look for, or basically just saying look for the input box. Once you have something in there, press this and then it will send it. So let's go ahead and try this prompt. So I want it to generate a watercolor painting of a Chicago skyline. And it should look something like this. It won't look exactly like it though. Just because it's generating a completely new one, it's not, you know, taking it from some sort of database or something else where it's already existing. So it's generating it itself. Oh, my bad. I just reset it. Let me press that again. Okay. Now we just gotta wait for it to generate. It might take a little bit. Cool. And then it gives us pretty much the same exact picture, just with slight differences, which we would expect. Yeah, pretty much the same though. It's kind of scary. All right. And kind of like what I mentioned, it's not retrieved from some sort of catalog. It actually generates it itself. based off of the text input that you put. Some best practices is to be as specific as possible when you're trying to generate images with anything with AI, honestly. Just because the AI sometimes will try to reason itself, and it's not always going to be exactly what you want. So let's go ahead and try this prompt to generate an adventure brand, and have it make something, and then it should look something like this once that's done. Cool. So as you can see, it's really, really different from the example right here. And that's because the prompt you gave it was extremely broad. You just wanted a logo for an adventure brand. AI doesn't really know exactly what you need. They just put mountains, rivers, anything that's associated with adventure, essentially, right? Nature, right? Now let's say you want it more specific. You want it to give it a very rustic feel. And you want a tent silhouette and stars. So that's exactly what you want. So the AI will try its best to generate everything that you put as the input. And it should look something similar to this, but not always the same. There we go. There we go. So as you can see, it's very, very similar. Of course, it does have a rustic feel. It's got the tent and silhouette, and also stars, just like you prompted it. So try to be as specific as possible when you're trying to generate images. The best thing you can do is give it some sort of like what you want in the actual picture. So we specified there was a tent. It generated tents and stars as well. You can use a lot of adjectives that would help the AI a lot. So it kind of knows what you're looking for, and it could adjust accordingly. Contrary to that, though, try to be balanced with it. Don't be too complicated. Don't be too simple. Kind of, be at the right balance of complexity and also simplicity, right? Experiment different styles, whatever you want. Kind of like give it different styles and kind of see what you like best. Try different iterations. Maybe this iteration is not what you want. Let's actually see. Let's see if it generates a different one from the first one that we actually like more. Let's see.
So, one question I had about these is that from my personal experience with image generation, it has a hard time, like if your company name is already something specific with words and like how they display. Is there any way to get around that? Because in my experience, it seems like you would have to create the logo yourself and then add words to it because of the way that AI generates the words in like almost a nonsensical or non-formatted way.
Yeah.
So if you already have your business name, for example, like
right.
How could you get a logo that would include your business name like in the image? Because from my experience, even if I put it in double quotes and stuff, it still has a tendency to misspell.
It doesn't recognize it?
It doesn't seem to like generate it properly. Well, and you can see like you said adventure, and it spelled adventure correctly.
Yeah.
In some of the places, but then if you look at your example, like on the left, like the pre-recorded one,
yeah,
like adventure is not spelled correctly in that last one.
Yeah, you're right here, right?
It seems to be like a recurring theme, like if my company's name is like Books and More, I feel like it has a really hard time creating books and more as like the actual focus of it, and so I don't know if there's a way around it or if there's like an engineer, like is there a way to prompt engineer it a little better to get it to respond in that way?
Let's try it. Please include my I'm really not sure, so we'll see what happens. Please include my company name. Let's name it Hikers Peak. I don't know. All right. I don't know. Tent. Let's put river and river and stars. Yeah. To your question, I'm actually not too sure about that. I would try to, mess around with the prompts and kind of see what results come from that. Or you could, it didn't even give me a name.
It's just like, it seems like text seems to be an issue with it, with most generation ones, and so, yeah.
Yeah, that might be a limitation of the DALL-E model right now. I'm sure with the future iterations, hopefully it could.
Overlay on images?
What do you mean by overlay?
So typically in the graphic arts world, right, they build you the logo, and then you're like, well, I want to add my company name to it. They overlay it on top of it. It's still an image, right, but it's text image, right, and they overlay it on top of it, so you add that base logo, right? Can you say, can you overlay my company name?
Can you overlay my company name? Let's put Hikers Peak.
It seems to, at least from my experience with it, it would regenerate it each time, so it doesn't, like if you wanted to keep that exact image and then just put your company name on it, it wouldn't know because it creates it.
It recreates it.
Yeah, where is the preceding shit in front of it and just type, can you overlay my company app? Like,
Yeah.
On the lab, on the preceding image.
All right, let's try.
Yeah.
And that's, it'll,
Let's try. This is a live demo, guys. We'll see what happens. I haven't had too much experience with the image generation side, so this is really great that you guys are sharing that.
I mean, I've played around with generating images, and text is really the only thing that like I've run into this kind of issue with. So like, if you don't need a specific.
it's got two eyes.
Oh no, it's so close.
It's very close, and that's what I experienced too. Is that like it seems to add letters and or like it's like taking some sort of artistic approach to the structure of the characters. From my understanding, but yeah, that's just been my experience.
Yeah.
Trying to get it to do like playing cards.
Yeah.
And it's
It worked, but it didn't take it changed the previous image, like this one.
The word, the actual title, you know what I mean? That we change it to how you want it. Like you want the words above the picture, or you know.
Ooh, that's a good one. See if you could say.
You want to overlay over the logo or
Overlay.
Yeah. Can you and tell us to spell hikers with one I?
Overlay on the top of the logo with.
But Firefly has the same issue. I've been using. I'm a huge Adobe advocate, but like, a Firefly has the same.
Exact.
It's like intentionally doing it wrong.
Yeah. I think that means efficiently.
It's like, it's so strange.
So you could
It's
somehow
like I know you got shit to do, but
All right. Can you overlay my company name with the exact spelling Hikers Peak on top of the logo? So let's see if it understands that. Time is.
But whoever asked about the prompt engineering, I guess if you're using, you would have to be like have Angry Elf, be specific and write like if they want to do your own image.
Exactly.
Oh. Got it. There we go.
Not bad.
Spelled it right?
Yeah, spelled it right. Yeah, you just gotta keep trying different prompts and be very specific, like exact spelling. Hikers Peak. It wasn't on top, but it's close enough.
I wonder if you guys said, can you move it higher? Don't like be more specific. Say, move the company name higher.
Yeah. Maybe if you just put like use the same exact image as before, but move it higher than something like that, right? Yeah.
Do you know if it uses dimensions or quadrants, like pixels, and if you're using a vector image, right? Right, and it has coordinates and stuff like that. Like I wonder if you like coordinate blah blah blah, put the the company title name. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun to try. Yeah, definitely something you can like refine, as you go. Yeah, this is actually really cool. I've actually never used it to this extent, so great experience for all of us here.
Well, and one thing, just to like throw this out there, is like, so for Firefly, for example, they have more settings in terms of you can give it composition guidelines. So whether you want it in charcoal or watercolor and things like that. And
Okay.
you can also stylize and choose those settings as well.
Oh, nice.
So it's a little different than like, just using Dolly straight out the box, but this is really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Firefly is built. Do you know if it's built on top of a Dolly? Like, does it use Dolly?
I think it is. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, okay. So it's more like refined, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
I think part of it,
Yeah.
If it's creating your friendly robot mascot, who owns the copyright?
sometimes they
That's a legal question, dude.
sometimes they provide little footnotes because there is what do you call it, stock photos versus being aware that such and such may be copyright.
Yeah.
Yep, that's definitely an issue that if you're planning to use this for like a company, I'm not sure.
I guess if you asked the questions and got it to create what they were looking for, I guess you own the copyright, right? Like
Yeah.
It depends, because sometimes they
If it's a work for hire, you're paying the user to do it.
You might be able to even ask that specific question to make sure that this is not a copyright photo.
Yeah, and then there is also trademark issues too.
Right.
So if the name or trademark, they
Oh.
need not doing it.
I know a lot of language models already have those built-in things. Like Firefly, for example, will not produce. You can write in Mickey Mouse all you want. It's not going to reproduce Mickey Mouse in that way because of trademark and copyright. And like there is a general rule for AI-generated things. Like if you want something to be under your own copyright, there's a certain percentage that you need to change. So like you throw it in a Photoshop and you add something, and then it becomes like your own. But in most cases, like it depends on what your agreement with the company that's using the like Dolly engine on the back end, like what the agreement is on the front end. So like in Firefly, for example, like they again just Adobe in general, like they have license agreements that basically allow them to use your art if you want that you generate on Firefly for their internal training, but not necessarily for their public trade. So like the photos are yours, but the information and basically what they generate is Adobe's, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like the learning information belongs to Adobe, but the image, from Adobe's perspective, is yours.
Yeah, and I think if you want the learning to be yours, this is where the money.
That's where you can pay, and Adobe has a pay scale where you can pay to basically ensure that everything you generate is only yours.
Yeah. So with the advancements of AI, the legality of stuff is up in the air, I would say. I can't speak to that, so I don't have any experience, so I don't want to say anything that would be wrong, right?
And then one other thing on the artistic piece, depending on like your background or knowledge, you can ask for hot or cool or warm type colors and images for different fields that it might not know to generate, but you can request, and then it goes into that database, for like acrylics or pastel, that kind of.
Yep. Cool.
Does this platform for labs that you're pulling from, does it have labs about connecting to databases and
So if I'm correct,
Workshop.
you see here. So I think this is what you're looking for. So if you use AI Foundry with the Azure credit that you're getting from this lab, you can mess around with it and implement RAG patterns. So RAG is like when they take from database and then put it into the prompt, and then you get the more like specified results. So I think this is what you're looking for right here.
RAG?
Yes.
Looking at that acquisition.
Yeah. All right. And then let me just go ahead and, with interest of time, we have about maybe 20 minutes or so. let me show you how more advanced it could be. So we're gonna jump back to the models really quick, enter this in as a system prompt, and we're gonna have the models, GPT-4o mini model, generate a prompt for us that we're gonna be using within Copilot here. Let's go ahead. So the prompt, the system message, or sorry. Oh, sorry, it says to reset it. Let me take that out. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Okay. Oh, jeez. All right. So we're going to be using the this model right here, GPT-4o mini. We wanted to generate a prompt for the DALL-E 3 with all these specifications. So you wanted 3D animated office space, modern, ergonomic, futuristic, natural light, everything like that. And then you're specifying that it's intended for use of architects, interior designers, companies looking to revamp their workspaces. So this would be something like gathering inspiration as to what it could possibly look like. And instead of spending hours and hours on it, you can generate it within seconds. And then the appeal, so design, functionality in mind, includes ample storage space. So this is very, very, very specific. So this would be great if you had a very specific kind of design that you had in mind of the space. And this is what it came out with. So instead of the kind of basic image generation prompts that we had before, colorful fox mascot, representing agility and creativity. Now we have all of this for the AI to generate. So let's see what happens from there. Let's go and clear this. And let's go. So yeah, as you can see the prompt up here, create a vibrant 3D animated representation of a modern office space. Like we mentioned, ergonomic, potted plants, green walls, meaning pods. Let's see. That's kind of crazy.
Why kept saying they couldn't do an animation?
Yeah, right? I think that'd be the next step. Or what if we could create a GIF of like a meme or something, right?
I know the Copilot wasn't allowing me to create it because it says it can't do animation.
Oh, I see. Oh, you're trying this prompt right here?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if I'm the only one.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think this is animated either. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. But you see how powerful, AI could be, because instead of spending hours, days, maybe even weeks trying to design something like this, you can generate it for inspiration and then use that inspiration to actually tinker with it however you want, right?
Can you, for example, just instead of writing that whole paragraph, say create me an office space with greens or with plants in the background and plants on every desk, and just a simple one, seeing the difference, right?
Yeah.
Compared to the very detailed prompt versus over the
Chairs with natural lighting. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what this gives.
It's all about the prompt, right? It's all about learning to be that descriptive, right? In a normal day, you're not that descriptive of anything. Like I couldn't describe this place, but learning how to be that descriptive so they can create that. That's the hard part.
Exactly. So that's kind of the challenge with using AI, is being as descriptive as possible, just because as human-like AI seems to be, it's still a machine. And whoa, that's still pretty crazy.
That's cool, right?
That's still pretty crazy.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's creating that from the image it already created, because we didn't do a new, right? We didn't close it out and do a new one.
Let's try.
You know what I mean? It could have been you mean the picture above? Oh.
Right. It's using that as a context. Yep.
Right.
Oh, no, we don't want that. We don't want that. Sorry, let me copy. New chat. There we go. And then let's see what comes out. Still pretty good. And they included people too in this one. So as you can see from, from iteration, it could be vastly different. And we didn't even give it a prompt to include people. So, AI tends to make things up on the fly. So, but if you wanted to tailor it, you have to be very, very specific with the prompt. Yeah. All right. That's it for the image generation. Now we're going to move on to multimodal. So multimodal, we're just going to be combining text with image, essentially. And the GPT-4o does support voice, but for the purposes of this lab, I don't have access to the voice aspect. So, but if you guys have, GPT or Copilot, you guys can go ahead and try out the voice on your own because you have access to the lab as well. If you guys are curious about that. All right. So the best practices for this, of course, provided context. That's kind of the general theme of prompt engineering and AI in general. Is provided the context of which you kind of want, and like whatever the answer is, you have to provide a context as to what the AI needs, right? And then task-oriented prompts. If you want it to perform a specific task, put that in there as well as a context, right? You can also define output, which I've actually used. So if you want the output, for example, like in code, you can input code, you can have output as code. If you want to generate a JSON, object, you can generate that as well easily. So if you need some sort of like boilerplate data or whatever, placeholder data, you can generate that quickly instead of having to do that freehand, which sucks. Yeah, so different types of things you use. Handling refusals, kind of what we went over beforehand. You can specify the model to not respond if it's not related to the chatbot in the system message. And then prompt tuning, kind of what we went over as well. Depending on what the result you need, go ahead and adjust the prompt accordingly, essentially, right? All right. So we're going to be using the GitHub Models Playground. Let me go ahead and take that here. We're going to go ahead and clear. We don't want any sort of context. The system message is empty. It's good. And I already have this on my laptop, so you guys go ahead and just watch. I don't think you guys downloaded it yet, but we're going to go ahead and attach a image file like this. And then we're also going to add some text to it. So we're using image and text as the input. We wanted to create a tagline with a short description for a rental home. First picture, you're just specifying that it's a home. Description, use the features of the home and make the ad more compelling. So you want the AI to actually recognize what's in the image, and you want to use that in the description. And then last is kind of safety. You want to like false advertise, so you add this. Do not talk about features not visible in the image, right? So let's see what comes out. Exactly. You don't want it to come up with something that is not there. And let's see, tagline. Escape to tranquility. Your dream getaway awaits. That sounds pretty nice. And then description. Nestled in a picturesque landscape. Yeah. Stunning stone villa. It recognizes the stone villa. Charming rustic architecture. Modern comforts. Surrounded by oasis. Dive in crystal clear waters of the private pool, which is here. Perfect for lazy afternoon. Let's see, unwind, outdoor lounge, right here. Coffee break, Marvel. Yeah, pretty much the description that it gave matches the picture, I would say almost perfectly, right? And it gave it a really nice kind of compelling description where you would want, as a customer, you would feel compelled to book it if you saw it, right? So from this, you can tell that the AI recognizes what's in the actual photo, and then from the prompt, of course, it used that in the description, and it didn't use anything that was not visible in the image. So you can see how powerful AI is getting because it's able to recognize what is in photos now.
And how do you know what model to use?
So that depends. I would say the GPT-4o in general is kind of like the baseline now. It used to be like the 3.5 Turbo was like the older one. I would say any sort of GPT, like the mini one, works really, really well.
But like what?
You're talking about like these ones?
Yeah, like what? Do they have like descriptions? This is specifically used for this, or like this is more generic. You can use it for anything. Like how do you know what model to use to do certain tasks?
So there are descriptions. I'm only kind of familiar with the GPT. So GPT is more general use. So it's like ChatGPT, right? And then the DALL-E is more image generation ones.
Okay.
Image generation. And then these other ones I'm actually not too familiar with.
So, yeah, so I guess, how did you know that the DALL-E was more specific to images?
That's what it's like branded for.
Huh?
It's branded for that. It's kind of like the so each model is.
I get that, but what I'm saying is like, all right, I got some images, right? It's in a course lab right now, but how did you know to say, all right, if I'm doing image stuff, and build prompts, I'm gonna use the DALL-E model. Like, how did you know that? Did you Google it?
Yeah, you could Google that. Yeah, so it's all. Yeah, it's all in the documentation.
GPT it, I guess. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you can ask that too. Yeah.
There's a model description on the first page. It's like what are the models, and you can read each model.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, basically what she said was on the GitHub models page, there's a description underneath each model. So you can see, like, depending on what your needs are, you can check it out and play around with it. All right. So now we're going to be using the same, oh, we don't want that. Let's go back. We're still going to be using the GPT-4o Mini. We're going to be providing it an image, which is this one right here. So it's essentially a piece of paper, handwritten something on it, and we're purposely blocking out the kind of most of the document, right? Just to see if the AI model is able to interpret what that handwriting is. And let's see if it's able to. This first image right here. And then we're going to enter in a prompt as well. So back to the multimodal image and text. We want to extract all the text from the image and explain what you think it is, right? So it has to recognize what is in here and then decipher what this is. As a human, I can't read that, to be honest. And as an AI, it is also having trouble because it thinks it's a signature that appears to read null or possibly null. Given the image shows only a signature with no text or identifiable layout. It looks like a blank, unaddressed postcard. So this is the initial deduction from the AI model from that initial result right here. So if we drop in a different picture, let me show you what the picture looks like. It's going to be a more, so we unblock one of the bullet points, then this looks like steak to me. So hopefully the AI has more context as to what the actual handwriting says. So we'll see. Yeah, any guesses? So let's see if the model is able to pick up on what those two bullet points are. Yeah, still having trouble with the first one. So it still thinks it's null. And the second one, it did pretty well. It says steak. So now it's saying that it's a handwritten list, set of notes, or a postcard. So it's still not totally sure what it is. Uses dash to make a list, so it recognizes it's a list. Second item is a steak. So it could possibly be a grocery list. So it could be.
So it shows it make inferences.
Exactly. And recognize what is on an image. And recognize that it's handwritten notes too. Yeah, exactly. So this is the third and final image with everything unblocked. As a human, you could read, eggs, dozen. That is still looks like milk, but who knows? Steak, mayo, organic, bread, beer.
One pack.
Just one. You can't fill the whole fridge, so. All right. So let's see if the AI is able to recognize that now and make some inferences as to what those items are. Enter in the same prompt, and we'll see what happens. All right, let's see. Wow. Yep, finally got the second item. So I recognize eggs, dozen. Same thing, milk, steak, mayo, organic, bread, beer, and then pack, not full fridge. And now it's able to recognize that it's a handwritten grocery list now, or shopping list, which it wasn't able to before, right?
Able to detect ginger, like the wife saying, "Don't you dare try to pull it."
Yeah. It's like, don't you know we need groceries? Yep. It's able to even decipher dozen next to eggs and then organic next to mayo, suggesting preference to organic mayo, which is crazy. And then dozen next to eggs, indicating quantity. Last line, pack, not full bread, Yeah. So this demo demonstrates, the AI's capability to even recognize handwritten notes, which is crazy because for even to me, I don't think I could even read like milk, to be honest, right? But it uses context and a bunch of inferences to come up with the final guess. And then the last part of the lab is going to be going over the real-time audio interactions, which I'm not going to be doing within this lab, just because I don't have access to it. But if you want to play around with it and you have access to it, just go ahead and hit this button right here. It's able to do speech to text. So it recognizes your speech. So if you want to say, like, teach me some Italian phrases, the AI model is able to recognize that, convert it to text, and then give some sort of output pertaining to some Italian phrases. Yeah, it's pretty cool. AI is pretty crazy now. All right. This is going to be a quick summary. We went over multimodal models. So text to text at the beginning, and then we went to text to image, and then finally at the end we went from text and image to some sort of output at the very end.
Is globalaIbootcamp.com free?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's completely free, like community. You can check it out. There's a bunch of different events that we hold around the country, actually around the world. Oh, not that one. Community.
So by registering for this event through AI Meetup, so are we a part of this global AI now?
Let me see. Yeah, you might have to create like an account on the website, but it's a completely free community where you can go to any event. Doesn't really, right here. So globalai.community, right here. You can register, log in.
And there's a local chapter here in Vegas?
Yes, so this is actually the first event that we're hosting in Vegas.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, I've been to the ones in Houston, but very first one here, so This is very special. Thank you for letting me, hopefully you guys learn stuff. And hopefully we do more events later. Yeah, if you guys want to check out the different chapters, you can go out. There's so many, like as you can see, Athens, Amsterdam, everywhere.
I don't know, AI generated logos.
Right. What would an AI website be without AI generated?
So there is one specific to Las Vegas, right?
Yeah. Let me see. I don't know if it's on here yet. We recently. Maybe it's not on here yet. Yeah, but it'll be on here after this event. What was that? Oh yes. If you want, I'll do LinkedIn. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I'll put it on here with my other notes. Oh man, I forgot my LinkedIn. I'll go ahead and leave this page too if you guys haven't had a chance to get the free Azure credit.
Is it going to meet regularly, or is it going to be like once a quarter, once a month?
We haven't figured out the logistics yet,
Okay.
but we'll go ahead and we're allied with Tech Alley, so they'll go ahead and send over notifications, or maybe at the next Tech Alley event we might be here as well. Let me look up. I forgot my handle.
Well, your last name's a nightmare.
I know.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'm able to find you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Your name, that would-
Oh yeah, that usually does it.
Yeah, that's definitely unique.
All right, there we go.
Will you be posting like, hey, we're going to be here this month on your LinkedIn, or are you?
Yeah, usually on LinkedIn, or usually on usually LinkedIn.
Okay.
Normally. All right. You guys have any questions? Yeah.
So like I'm thinking about, like, I know like cloud, they recently released the analytics. So what I want to achieve is I have basically a algorithm. Like I want the AI to, once gather data, they use this algorithm to analyze the data.
Okay.
So like how do I haven't explored that, but I just like if there's any way we could achieve that, it would input the algorithm and then we instruct AI to run data.
Where's your data coming from? Like, is it?
So I think the data the thing is we're gonna collect a lot of data from people, and then that create a database, which initially serve the model to give the running.
Right.
And then once every new people using the data, using the AI to fill in the question, they're able to get the results of this collective database.
Yeah, so that would probably be when you integrate it within, like, do you have like an app right now with like a UI and like backend and stuff?
Yeah,
okay.
all in idea.
Yeah, no, yeah. So it sounds kind of more like programmatically, you're gonna have to integrate the AI into the code. So using APIs or SDKs, you could, set the system message. I don't know the specifics. Let me see. You're gonna have, it sounds like a RAG pattern. So you're gonna, retrieve it, the data from the database, put it within the prompt that the user puts. So I think this is kind of what you were looking for.
Okay.
Develop generative AI apps in AI Foundry Portal. More specifically, how to integrate it. I'm not sure where that is. Oh, right here. Sounds like this. It's kind of what you might be looking for.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Yeah, so on the lab, you can go ahead and check this link out.
Yeah.
Azure, or like Microsoft specifically, has really great resources to learn about AI and kind of build like practice projects.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye, thank you for coming.
Thanks again.